Hi everybody, hello. Laura's on this side of the camera, I'm on
Hello.
this side today. We love doing cooking stuff, so we both cook a lot. Because of our clinic schedule, Laura tends to cook a lot more. Laura is talented enough to own a restaurant and be a chef in a restaurant.
So is Rick.
I've been cooking for years and years and years. So
Hi, Siobhan.
Hi everybody. So you know that we are into simplicity. That is a main thing that has been kind of like the battle cry of all these Facebook Live things we're doing is try to do simplicity. This is one of my favorite simple things. It's quick, easy, and I got the idea from a guy named David Chang, who has a cookbook called Momofuku. That's the name of his restaurant. He has other restaurants too.
Yeah.
And I love David. He's a Korean American chef who's made a big name for himself in Toronto, New York City, Toronto, LA. We love him. So he has a recipe for simple, quick salt pickles, they're called. And I'm going to talk about the ingredients in a moment. And he even said, he goes, why is this even a recipe? Because it's really a 3-to-1 ratio of sugar to salt. So we are going to show that in a moment. It's interesting too because some cultures don't pickle, some cultures do. Like part of Laura's heritage, she's half Korean American, and they're big with kimchi. That is a form of that. That's a lot more complicated.
Actually, fermentation.
Yes, right. Yes.
Which pickling and fermentation are different, and we'll have to go over that. But
right.
Pickling is one of the steps, kind of, right?
Yeah. Well, he mentions that as being a Korean American about, you know, how complicated kimchi can be, but then really if you think about it, it's a vegetable, a salt, sugar, and some spice, and sometimes vinegar, and he does that as well, but it's a lot more complicated. This whole thing, the whole process from making it to eating it is like 20 minutes. I say 20 minutes because you can eat it in 10 minutes after you finish the process.
How long do you think the prep time is, though? Honestly,
I would say, quite honestly, probably 3 minutes.
Yeah,
4 minutes.
3 minutes.
It depends on knife skills. Knife skills are really important to us. We taught our kids early on, especially our son, who's loves to cook, about knife skills. It's really important. We're not going to go into that a lot. I'll mention it in a one-sentence thing as I'm cutting the cucumbers. So there, you know, we talked about pickling a moment ago. So there's also canning, a lot more complicated. Vinegar pickling, which is water, vinegar, salt, sugar. This is none of those things. This is sugar and salt and whatever you're pickling. So the main, I chose a few things today. The main thing that I want to do, cucumbers. Cucumbers have an interesting history. Laura, you know, when I'm working on a vegetable, I usually don't know that it's in the gourd family, that it's 3,000 years old, that it's not really a vegetable, it's a fruit. And Laura helps me with all those, she's an information geek in a good way.
I like to geek out.
She does. So it's interesting because the flesh of the inside of a cucumber is sweet and the outside is more bitter, the actual skin.
Yeah.
On this, we are not skinning these. They're organic. We're going to wash them. These, I believe, probably Hot House. They come from Wegmans. But wherever you're living and watching this, I'm sure they have these type of cucumbers. Other cucumbers can be used. I don't use your traditional Western cucumber. There's way too many seeds. But it's a preference issue. You can use the really long singular, what do they call it? English cucumbers. Yeah. Right. Again, those are fine. I happen to like these. Now, no offense to David Chang and Momofuku, I tend to do mine a little thicker. He says 1/8 of an inch. I tend to do 1/4 to 1/2 inch, me, just because I like that. The nice thing about this is, once we prep it, cut it, put it in there with the sugar and salt, toss it, put a lid on it, put it in the refrigerator, as I said, you can eat it 10 or 20 minutes later. I like that. They recommend putting them in a cool place to kind of cure for that 10 or 15 minutes. And so we're going to have these, actually, Laura just said tonight, or just about a few months ago, she goes, great, we're doing an Asian themed dinner tonight, this will be perfect. So we're going to start with doing some skills. Pulling out one of these, just going to open it up. Even though they say they're washed, we still wash them.
Yeah, no, you want to wash those, definitely, right?
Yes. I always have a kitchen towel somewhere nearby. I usually keep it over my shoulder. These are clean paper towels. I'm just wiping it off. You don't have to. I do. I tend to. Get that out of the way. And then in most cooking schools, you have sauté, frying, the wet, which is steaming and boiling, the dry, which is roasting, the combo, which is braising, And then, again, I don't know in the Western cooking schools, but as David Chang said, he goes, I would really consider pickling the sixth technique. And most people that spend a lot of time in the kitchen, I think, would probably agree with that. So when you use the sharp knife, these are Cutco, thanks to our son who got those for us. You keep your fingers tucked in, and I'm just cutting off the tips, although David Chang, I think, does the tips as well. So I just move those. And just a quick one-sentence thing, we always have a stainless steel bowl here. This is our debris from all our cooking of vegetables, and we compost this. Laura's going to do a whole thing one day on composting. She's our compost person, so we always have a bowl with debris, and we recycle. It's basically vegetable recycling. We can use it for soup stocks and things like that. So that's why this bowl is here. So as I said, I cut them a little differently. I cut them a little thicker. That's probably a quarter to a half inch, right? And you can show off and go like this and all that, but just nice and careful.
No urgent care.
Oh, no, yeah. No, we won't go into that story. So, and always be looking down when you're cutting. So you can see, what is that? That's probably half inch, right? So, so I'm going to do a couple more of these, and I'm going to show you what I won't do them all for this shoot today, but I will finish them when we're off camera to finish this. So again, put those to the side.
I think you can really do a thickness to your liking, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And the same thing, and I'm going to talk in a moment about the 3-to-1 ratio, 3 sugar to 1 salt. And like David Chang said, it's to your preference. If you like sweeter cucumbers, I'm not a sweet person, I'm more salty. But these are called quick salt pickles. So
is it 3 sugar to 1 salt or 3 salt to 1 sugar?
Sugar to salt.
Ah.
3 to 1. You know, a tablespoon of sugar is equal to 3 teaspoons make a tablespoon. So that's 3 to 1. So it's really easy to remember. So tablespoon, teaspoon. So let me just
Okay,
cut these.
so I'm going to confess something online right now. I've been making these pickles as well, and I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
This is just another little knife skill. You keep the blade down. All right, so now there's a couple of different ways. In restaurants, you tend to see the soup container you get at any Asian takeout place. Not just Asian takeout, but takeout place. It has a plastic lid. Notice I have masking tape and a Sharpie to mark what we do is you put what it is and the date. I'm using Pyrex today, so I'm going to throw these in there. These cubes that we just cut. And I have other things I'm going to talk about to the side over here as well. And so what you can do, you can have a container of sugar. Now we tend to use organic raw sugar. That's us. I don't traditionally use nothing. I'm not trashing Domino sugar, commercial sugar. I don't tend to use. Sometimes they use bleaches and things like that, and they tend not to with organic raw salt. So as you can see, I'm using a tablespoon, and I'm just spreading it around here, right? And I don't do a heaping teaspoon. Like, I'm not even going to use that full teaspoon. That's a little tablespoon, sorry. And now I stir that first that's me, because I've just experimented over the years. I've been doing these for years.
And they're delicious.
And then you do your teaspoon of salt. Again, if you don't like salty foods, then do less salt.
I think I've been doing it 1-to-1.
Oh my golly.
Yeah.
And it turned out great.
Yeah, just a teaspoon of each.
This is kosher salt. It's unmarked, so.
So I think if you're thinking about less sugar, you could certainly do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
However, I do think yours are better. And now I know why. I should read the recipe.
Yay, David Chang. So, we tend to be a spicy family. We like spicy stuff. This is jalapeno. I've had just plain cucumbers with salt and sugar. I tend to spice it up a little bit. You can use a serrano. You can use whatever. I don't tend to use sweet peppers in something like this, and I don't think Laura does either. Laura and I are both really spicy people. So again, jalapeno, I'm just cutting out. For those that you see in every recipe book you read, now put your gloves on when you're doing this. I have so much jalapeno juice, and so does Laura, seeped into my pores. And I don't even, you of course don't want to cut a jalapeno and rub your eye or something. Of course, there's oils in these.
Yeah.
So again, I'm thinly slicing them. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that on the camera, Laura? I don't even know. And then I'm going to just cut them, keep those to the side. Then I'm just going to I'm going to mince those really thin. Keep your fingers away from all your chopping. And I'm just going to mix that in. And then when these will cure just like those cucumbers without salt and sugar. And we're going to mix that up. Now, of course, after this is over, and I'm not going to have you watch me cut 6 cucumbers. We'll put a top on that like this. It'll go over into the refrigerator here. But I'm going to not do that because, but also, as I said, you can put them into one of these soup containers. Don't forget to mark it when you did it. They're good for about a week. They get a little soft in about 3 days. What would you say, Laura?
Yeah, they get a little soft.
Well, they don't last long enough in this household.
Right. I would say to eat them within like 2-3 days.
Yeah. Also, one of the main, this is the quick, remember this, the quick salt pickling. Also, radish, awesome. Same thickness for me. I maybe a little thinner. Daikon, which is basically an Asian radish. Daikon, this is the little label that you see on Daikon, D-A-I-K-N, or K-O-N, sorry. And so same thing now with this, because look how thick it is compared to a Western radish, you would tend to slice it, peel it first, I would, and then slice it thinly, and then you can quarter it or whatever technique, but just doing thin slice like that is pretty big and wouldn't be easy to eat. So I cut them into triangles sometimes. There's so many different ways you can do it.
Okay.
But this is our quick pickling, our quick salt pickle day. And
yeah, I'd like to.
You want to talk about the health benefits, Laura?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we always talk about how food is medicine. And cucumber in Chinese medicine, Rick talks about the taste of it. They say that in Chinese medicine, the inside flesh is sweet, the skin is considered slightly bitter, and the skin actually has quite a few nutrients in it. So try to eat the cucumbers with the skin on if you can do that, because cucumbers are basically mostly water, some fiber, and some vitamins, and they're wonderful. There's a lot of health benefits.
This doesn't have wax on them. Some commercial cucumbers, they put wax on them.
Right.
To keep them fresh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In Chinese medicine, they are cooling. They're good for the skin. They're a yin tonic, or they help out with fluids in the body. They treat reflux, burning stomach, hot flashes.
Everyone has reflux like these
bleeding
days.
Gums, bad breath. Wow.
Hangovers, good for hangovers.
Yeah, they're good for hangovers because they are largely water, and then they have the nutrients. Yeah, and then they're very good for the hair and the nails and the skin. And you'll see people in, when our eyes are puffy. Yeah.
Right. Spas. They cut the cucumber slices, right?
Right. Because the cucumbers are so cooling, they're anti-inflammatory.
Right.
So hence the statement "cool as a cucumber," because they are very cool.
Yes, there you go.
So
all these things that are in our culture, we didn't even know where it came from.
Yeah, and there you have it. And then I would avoid cucumbers if you feel like extremely cold, like if something is going on and you're feeling and you feel like you're very cold, then maybe choose a different. And
you know what? Vegetable. They're really easy to grow. Once we get outside during these Facebook Lives when the weather really breaks. We're going to talk. There's so many easy things to grow. They're not real. Wouldn't you say, Laura? They're
very, very easy to grow.
And they grow like crazy too.
Yeah. And one last thing is, I think that I like this recipe. This is one of my favorites, just because we're always trying to get at least 2 vegetable dishes with our meals. So you've cooked 1 vegetable dish, and then you can do something so fast like this, which is nice.
We like simplicity, like we said before. I love everybody. Anything else, Laura?
I think that's it.
See, no cooking involved. Raw, cool, and
delicious.
You'll love the crunch when you try it. So give it a shot, and
play with it.
We'll see you tomorrow. Talk to you later, everyone. Bye.
Bye.